cover story, which we all adopted. She'd explained to her mom that the two young women were escapees from the Displaced Persons Center in Jasper, plucked from the school after Cece had been attacked by someone on the inside. The unspoken part of the story, that the attacker had been part of the guard force, meant the two women needed to be kept hidden for the time being. I would have preferred the truth, of course, but so far none of the three adults knew about our clandestine visit to the sheriff's house, or our earlier elimination of the three deputies who triggered the action. Charles had been the only one of the three at the main house at the time when the deputies had shown up, and we'd made sure he was otherwise occupied when Pat and Mike had made the bodies disappear. That methane reactor turned out to be good for more than disposing of animal manure after all, but I wasn't looking forward to cleaning up the tank. I didn't like lying about the two Department of Agriculture agents. As a lawyer, some might think lying was part and parcel with my job, but they would be sadly mistaken. I might slant the facts to show my client in the light most favorable, but that isn't the same thing at all. My position regarding intentional falsehoods was not about morality, exactly. Lies simply had a way of coming back to bite you in the ass, so when forced to lie, I tried to stick as close to the truth as possible. Marta's story fit that criteria nicely, and that was probably why I liked it so much. Maddie and Cece didn't complain, since we'd been very direct with the both of them regarding what our group had risked in helping them. Anyway, we made a point of working on projects around the immediate area and close to home, including the installation of the wind turbine and battery bank at the old Bonner farmhouse. Improving the power situation at our second location meant not only could we have Charles and Mary living there in one of the bedrooms, but we could also shift Sally and Billy over there as well. The house only had 3 bedrooms, but there was a 4th room that served as an office and could easily be converted into another bedroom, but we couldn't decide on who might make the best use of it. Actually, that wasn't true. Ideally, we could have shifted either the 2 newest members over there, but Pat and I both worried about having our largest security risks living with 2 people who didn't know their true story. It wasn't that we didn't trust Mary and Charles, and they were family, or at least Mary was my cousin, and we'd always treated Charles like family. But since they had not committed to living here for the long term, some of us worried about them blabbing about some of our secrets, like the hidden caches in the woods, or our part in killing the sheriff and nearly a dozen of his lackeys. Maybe we could bring them in once Charles gave up his stated desire to go back to his old job, but I was skeptical. Maybe once he gave us some signal that he considered this more than a way station on the way back to civilization, we might consider letting him in on some of our deeper secrets. As for Beatrice, we just didn't know if the woman could keep a secret, period. She wasn't in the same league as my old secretary Barbara, but Marta gave us a clear warning early on that her mother had a tendency to spout off when she might do better to remain silent. So sorry, but for the moment, she would remain in the same category as the children. The other people we could transfer to that 4th bedroom were Nancy and Lisa. They could move out of the barracks and share a room over at Bonner, thus freeing up some space in the main house. I'd internally resisted the urge to make the suggestion for my own selfish reasons, but finally caved in and mentioned the availability in one of our open meetings after Sunday lunch. Fortunately, Nancy was the one to shoot down the option, claiming it would be unfair to Lisa to isolate her from her new friends and might interfere with her continuing schoolwork. I knew I had a stupid grin on my face after her pronouncement, but no one mentioned it, at least to my face. We'd even started leveling out the location Mike had finally selected for extracting coal from a small deposit he'd located on the Bonner property. Situated about 200 yards from the site of the second greenhouse, still being completed, the seam of lignite, or brown coal,